Good morning. This is Mrs. McClellan. I'm homesick today, but I wanted to help you with this practice test to get you ready for your test tomorrow. The first question on the practice test is asking, how did the CCP believe the ecosystem works? Show these components and how they interact using labeled arrows. And there's 8 different components listed. Now on your test tomorrow, you're not going to be asked to draw a model. However, you will be asked to interpret one. There's no better way to understand how something works than to try to make it yourself. So here we go. Now there's many pages of reading here. I've already done the reading, so I'm just going to skim to some of the key points. Hopefully you did the reading and you underlined some of the terms they're looking for. So it says on here that Chairman Mao and his campaign were trying to kill 4 pests. Those 4 pests being mosquitoes, rodents, flies, and Eurasian tree sparrows. Okay. You can read more about that. And it tells you how they killed their nests and killed the baby birds, the fledglings. Okay. Now, the reason why they were doing this is because it says here that insects destroyed a lot of crops, right? They also believe that the Eurasian tree sparrows ate grain, seed, and fruit. Okay, so let's just start with that. So what we'll do is we'll put sparrows on here. And they believed that the sparrows are eating crops. So I'm going to put write crops over here. You can write it anywhere where it doesn't matter. So crops are being taken by the sparrows. Maybe a better way to do that is to write the arrow going the other way. So they think sparrows are hurting crops. So you can show that by putting a negative sign on that arrow. So that means the Chinese government believes sparrows were hurting crops. Conversely, crops are probably feeding the sparrows. So we could put a plus sign there if we wanted. Now the crops are supposed to be helping humans, right? So we'll put humans here. And if they're feeding humans, that's a positive relationship. We also plant the crops and try to protect them. So both of those arrows are going to get plus signs. Crops help us, we plant crops, okay? Now, we were going to kill the sparrows. So we're going to put a negative sign here. Humans are harming sparrows. And the hope is that by killing sparrows, we would be increasing the crops, so more food for people, okay? Now, if we go back to our reading, we're also supposed to include all these other things. Okay, so we're also killing mosquitoes. There was a belief that, well, not a belief, it's true, that mosquitoes carry diseases that harm humans. So I'm going to give that a minus sign. We're attacking and killing mosquitoes, so we're going to give that a minus sign also. So it's kind of, we're at war with each other, mosquitoes and humans. We're also trying to kill flies. There was a thought that flies, are also maybe eating crops and a pest. So this is going to get kind of messy, but that's okay. I'm going to put an arrow here and say that flies are also eating crops. And then rodents. So I'm running out of space. Okay, so we'll put rodents down here. We're trying to kill the rodents. It says that rodents spread the plague. So that's a disease that hurts people. So rodents also harm people. Okay, so we're kind of at war with the rodents, the mosquitoes. We're killing sparrows. We're killing flies. What's missing from my list? Trees. Oh, and insects. I'm just going to say flies are part of the insects, okay? So we're killing bugs. The trees, it seems that birds nest in trees. So I'm just going to add trees here and say trees help sparrows because it's a nesting place. All right, so that's how the government thought it worked. The next question is, how does the ecosystem really work? Draw a new model, or we could edit the one above, circle the keystone species. So I'm going to go back to my reading. And it says that unintended consequences of the campaign. As it turns out, the sparrow was an integral piece of crop protection. What? We thought the sparrows were hurting the crops, right? Not only do the sparrows eat grains, but also insects, okay? So that was not on our model. Sparrows eat grains and insects. When they performed autopsies of dead sparrows, they discovered that their stomach was made up of insects and not grains, as was previously believed, right? There was a particular problem with locusts, given that sparrow is their only natural predator. Because of the imbalance between predator and prey, the locust excess was able to swarm freely over the country, eating a majority of the crops. Oh no, bad news. Okay, so this is how they thought it worked. What actually was really going on is sparrows are really eating insects, okay? So I'm making it a big arrow to show that there's like a big impact on the insects. They may eat a little bit of crops, so I'm going to do like a dotted line there to show there's a weak connection with the crops, but they're really, really eating the insects, in particular locusts. Okay, so now what happens? Humans kill sparrows, right? We're harming the sparrows. Sparrows eat insects. The insects eat crops. Okay, so I'm going to give that a negative sign. So when we kill the sparrows, this is a predator-prey relationship. There's nothing to eat the insects anymore. So now the locusts are going to destroy the crops. Crops are still good for people, right? But without the sparrows controlling the locusts, the crops are getting destroyed, less food for people. Does that make sense? We could add in all the rest of the stuff too, but I think that was the key takeaway. So why did the campaign fail? You want to use these terms: limiting factors, carrying capacity, direct effects, indirect effects. Okay, basically, the sparrows were a key limiting factor for the insects, particularly locusts. Without sparrows, because we killed them, the carrying capacity of the insects goes up, which means you can now have more locusts. So then our crops go down, okay? So that was an indirect effect. The direct effect of the campaign is we killed sparrows. Indirectly, killing sparrows means more insects, which means less crops. So the campaign failed. We thought killing sparrows was going to increase crops. Killing sparrows actually decreased crops. We had a huge drop in crops. I think it says that in the reading. Okay. What could be done about it? Take a few minutes and think about maybe a better campaign. You might want to think about explaining how actually protecting the sparrows would be good. And maybe you want to draw, I'm not an artist, okay, but you might want to try to draw something that looks like the old Twitter icon, right? You might want to draw your bird, a sparrow, saving humans from locusts. You know, I'm going to make him look like a soldier with a little hat, fighting for the communist government. Thank you, sparrows, because they're actually fighting the war on locusts that is protecting our crops. So you could make some cheesy poster that says, you know, save our sparrows, protect their trees and habitat. They're the main predator of the locusts. When you protect sparrows, you actually are helping to protect our crops.